Hail to the show, it's the show and it's still hailing. Nimble Urban Survivor, it's a show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Nimble Urban Survivor. I'm your host, Nick Cutelli. Hope you're having a good month, good day, good year, good whatever. Hope you liked our intro there for our lovely, I guess, political show. I'm not a very political person though, if you know me. I'm not a political person. I don't really rave about it on social media. When it comes to politics, I don't really side with one side or the other, the Democrats or the Republicans. I kind of make fun of both sides. I feel like that's my job because I feel like a lot of people just make fun of one side. I make fun of both sides. But that brings me to my point is that, I've gotten some inquiries wanting to talk about the presidential election, which is next week. Between, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. But that's the thing. It's not actually between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. The one thing I think we always forget is third-party candidates. And that's today's topic, is how to survive being a third-party presidential candidate. Because we always forget about that. And I totally had like a light bulb kick on because I got my mail-in ballot, which, I do. I've been doing that for a couple of years now, mail-in ballots. It's nothing new. I know they act like it's like this brand new technology, even though mail was created, I think, back before the Civil War. But it's funny because you look to see who's running for president, and it's not just it's not just like the Biden-Harris ticket and the Trump-Pence ticket. There's like I'm looking at it right now, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, there's like 4 other tickets that are running for president. But you would never get that because, as a kid, I always thought that there was just two parties. I thought there was just Republicans and Democrats. And I think, the first time I saw a third party is when Ross Perot ran for office in the 90s. Remember, it was Ross Perot. We talked like this. I think he was like a Texas billionaire. He's like, can't finish. I just want to be president. But I remember he was the only third party candidate. I remember actually being allowed to do the debates and get some news media and things like that, because it was, George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, and then Ross Perot. Obviously, Ross Perot, didn't have a chance, and third-party candidates never have a chance, which is amazing to me because people, complain so much. They're like, oh, I got to choose between a Republican and a Democrat. And I'm like, well, there's third-party candidates, but you would never know they existed because obviously the media, doesn't talk about them. So that's what we're going to talk about is if you're a third-party candidate running for president, how do you get some attention? How do you survive the election? Because I just want to go through. I don't know if you know who the other candidates are that are running for president, but I want to go through, so this one is from the Peace and Freedom Party, and it's Gloria La Riva. She's running for president, and her vice president is someone, if I get the name wrong, I apologize, but I think it's Sunal Freeman. Sounds like a pretty good, I have no clue who they are. I don't know what they look like. I don't know anything about these people, but they made it onto the official ballot to run for president. That's crazy. And then you've got this guy, Joe Jurgensen. He's running for president. And then the vice president, you're going to love this guy, Jeremy. And in his middle name, he put quotations, Spike Cohen. So it's J Spike. And he's running for vice president of the Libertarian Party. I'm not going to lie. Jeremy might get my vote just because he's got Spike as his middle name. I kind of like that. Presidents should use that. They should have a nickname for their middle name. And then this is Howie Hawkins is running for president. And his vice president is Angela Nicole Walker. And they're from something called the Green Party. I don't even know who these people are. I don't even know what the Green Party is. I don't know if that's for a green environment or if that's maybe they just really, really like the color green. I don't know. And then this one is my favorite from what's called the American Independent Party. There's Raquel. I think I can't get this. If I pronounce the name wrong, I apologize. But it's Rocky de la Fuente Guerrera, I think, is running for president. I don't know, man. He has an amazing name, though. He sounds like a boxer that has 47 knockouts and would come out of retirement at the age of 70 and still be able to knock out a 20-year-old. And then his running mate is, I guess, is this Kanye West? Okay, so Kanye West is running for vice president of the American Independent. And I don't know if that's the Kanye, like the music guy Kanye, because I thought he was running for, president, but I guess on the ticket here it says he's running for vice president. So those are the other candidates that I guess you could vote for, if you obviously don't like Biden, Harris, or Trump, Pence. But the thing is like no one will vote for these people because nobody has a clue who these people are, which is kind of sad, because I'd be interested to hear these other political parties' viewpoints, what they have to say. Because, to be honest, if I'm being honest, and this is just my opinion, is that I feel like right now that our two political party system, they just don't get along. And I feel like they're kind of like mommy and daddy are fighting. And the American people are like the kids in the bedroom just listening to them scream at each other and nothing gets done. And really the real victims are the American people. Because now it's turned into this weird like two-party system where one party will literally just not do something because the other party wants to do it. So like if the Democrats were like, oh yeah, we just found the cure to cancer, we want to vote to give it to everybody for free, the Republicans would probably vote against that because, well, they just don't want the Democrats to do anything, and vice versa. If the Republicans were like, oh yeah, we just came out with a new solar combustion engine that could save the planet, the Democrats would be like, no, we're not voting on that because it came from a Republican. And that's a shame that it's gotten very personal, where politics, I think shouldn't be that personal. I think it should be like what's best for the American people. But now it's turned into like just a big, I guess argument. So I don't know. I mean, what is that? Well, when will the third party candidate maybe get some attention? I don't think it'll ever happen personally because they don't have a chance. But I guess if you were going to run to be a third-party candidate, how do you get the media attention? Because that's what you need. You need the media attention. You need the media. You need like Fox News and CNN and all those guys to, shine some light on you. Because then that's how like the American voters will see who you are, So how do you do that? Well, first of all, number one, I don't know how to actually like run for president. So I don't know all like the technicalities of like, do you have to get like a bunch of signatures and fill out some forms and pay a fee to get on the ballot? I don't know anything about that. So you're going to have to just Google that yourself. But what I do know is what steps you could possibly take to get that attention so that the American voter knows who you are as that third party candidate. So I think step one is you need to create a new political party. Don't go with any of these other political parties because, I don't know, they're going to have their own whatever agenda. So step one is create your own political party. I don't know how difficult that is. I don't know how easy that is, but just do it. Just Google that one. Figure it out. Create your own political party. Get a bunch of interns. Get some staff to work on your campaign. Start running for president, I would say probably about 2 years before the election. And, remember, this is all included in step one, is do all the generic stuff, set up your slogan, set up some like broad generic things that you want to do. You want to fight pollution, you want to create safety and jobs and give people money, all the checklist generic political stuff that everybody kind of has under their list, right? But that's not going to get you anywhere, okay? Because the real thing when it comes to politics now is how dramatic are you and how theatrical you are. I'm not going to lie, guys. I mean, our current president, that kind of helped him, the dramatics and the theatricals. And, that kind of helped him because, I feel like nowadays with the news, dramatic news is important news. Whereas in like good, happy news, nobody cares about that. Right? So, for example, if you heard a story about a man who ran into a burning building and saved like 6 orphan babies, you probably wouldn't care about that. You'd probably be like, oh, that's neat. Cool. And you change the channel and watch something else. But if you turned on the news and found out that a political candidate flipped out at a restaurant and flicked the waitress off and went on a rant, and somebody got it on their cell phone camera. Oh, yeah. Now we're talking. That's the news we like. That's the dramatic, good drama, crispy, chocolatey, nougaty news. Because that's what people like now. It's weird. We love the drama. I will admit, I love the dramatic news. Like the life-saving news, that's great. I love that. I appreciate that. But the reality TV style, Karen-esque, reality, dramatic, Real Housewives of New Jersey style news, oh yeah, I love that. And that's what people like now. We love that news. That's the news that we want. So that brings me to step 2, create dramatic news scenarios. And let's go back to our example, because I would use that as like, go to a restaurant, dress up in your political outfit, have some of your slogans, talk to, a few of the people there. I always see that. You always see that when, like, I remember Mitt Romney would do that. He would, like, go to a McDonald's in a pair of, like, khakis and a button-up shirt, and he'd, like, roll his sleeves up. 'Cause, I feel like all the politicians do that. They're like, look at me. I'm just like you guys. Even though I could probably afford to buy 10 McDonald's franchises, I'm here eating with the American people. And as you can see, my sleeves are rolled up, so you know that I'm one of you, even though my net worth is probably about 50 times more. So you want to do that. But don't be like really friendly. You can be kind of friendly to people. But the thing is you're going to want to like flip out and make a scene. And I think it's got to be about something really, really stupid. Because if you make a scene about like the food was bad or the service was bad, no one's going to care. That doesn't really make good news. But if you flip out because of something like, let's say, the number of ice cubes in your drink wasn't an even number, now that's going to make the news, because that's something you would probably hear about on like Real Housewives or Jersey Shore or, one of those shows. And you're going to want to make sure that people like whip out their camera phones and take you, like ripping the ice cubes out and counting them and throwing them at the waitress. And then you're going to have to make like a grand statement, which brings me to step 3. Use your dramatic, thing you're doing to make a grand political statement. So, for example, if you're ripping ice cubes out because, it's not an even number, you connect that to how the failing politics of America are working. So an example of that would be, is you're like, oh my God, there's only an even number of ice cubes in this cup. And that's the problem with America today, is these politicians are telling us just exactly how many ice cubes we should be drinking. Well, I remember the Tea Party, and we told the British that we're not going to take this tea or taxes, and that's the same thing with these ice cubes. I want an odd number of ice cubes in my cup, and damn it, I'm an American, and I deserve it. And if you make like a weird statement like that, I'm pretty sure people will catch it on tape. And it'll probably make like Fox News, CNN, and all that stuff. But here's the really fun part, is that people will side with you. Granted, that's kind of the weird thing I've found on social media today. Whatever you post, half of social media will love it and support you. And then the other half will just like completely hate you and just want to like troll you. So anything you do, like half the country loves it, half the country hates it. But if you like, connect a generic political statement of America failing to the number of ice cubes in your cup and you throw it up in the air, oh man, like you're in the spotlight now. People are going to be following you because you're so dramatic and controversial. And that's what we want out of a political candidate, right? So now that's your first spotlight. And you have to build upon that. Which brings me to step 3, is build and repeat. And a couple of things you're going to want to do is, obviously like be really dramatic. And if you want to see some like good examples of that, go look at like episodes of like Jersey Shore, and when they would like go out to a bar or a club and they'd have like those like weird run-ins with other people that almost turned into like borderline fights, but they were all talk and nobody actually really got into a fight. Well, it's kind of like you want to do that, but I would do like a Disney version of that so you don't come off as like a thug or something like that. And people are going to love it. You could also go the actor route and try and set up like a fake assassination or a fake kidnapping or something. I forget. Remember that actor from that show Empire tried to do that. Totally backfired though. So if you're going to do that, remember, if you're going to hire someone to try and act like they're going to kidnap you or assassinate you, make sure to go out of the country. Hire someone to like fly in for the day from like a foreign country, do it, and then immediately fly back. That was the guy's problem. Is I think he just used American local talent, and it totally backfired. So if you go to that route, do the international route, right? But that's the key here. Is you want to be dramatic and controversial because that's what the news cameras want. And I think that's why a lot of these third-party candidates fail, because they actually probably focus on real issues and like, this is what we can do to help America. This is how we can like bring the two parties together, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares. We just want to hear about, how Joe Biden fell asleep or might have an earpiece during the debates or might be on speed or something so we can actually, be awake during the debates. And then we just want to hear about, how, Donald Trump pretty much did literally anything. I feel like anything the man does is literally news. Actually, if he loses this election, I feel really sorry for like the news and all of these comedians, because then it's like, what are they going to talk about? A lot of people are going to actually lose their jobs because they just, they'll be like, well, we had like 80 writers on staff to make fun of President Trump, and he didn't get elected, so we just had to fire all those people. So I don't know. Maybe him getting reelected will be a good thing for the entertainment job market. Give all those writers and comedians, something to talk about and new material. But I digress. But, back getting on to our topic here, is to be a good third-party candidate, you just have to be controversial. It's kind of a 3-step process, really. Actually, it's probably one of the easiest processes for wanting to be the president of the United States of America. It's just, number one, start your campaign. Number two, flip out about ICE at a restaurant. And number three, just keep that drama and reality TV style controversy going. And I guarantee that at the very least, I don't know if you're going to get elected president, and don't take my word on it, but you might get invited to like one of the debates, because that's the thing, is like controversy sells, which is interesting to me, because if you look at the history of politics, and I'm not a political expert or anything like that, but I feel like that's the big selling point nowadays, is like, how controversial can you be? But I guess that's what works, though. That's what the American voter wants, is they want that reality TV show controversy. That's like, we ooze for it. I love it. So let's go to step 4, final step. And this isn't really a step, but this is just more ideas on how you can be a controversial politician. Number 1 is make outrageous statements. So, for example, we have a lot of people who talk about like the earth being flat, things like that. Make a grand statement and say that you were the one who helped created the earth to be a sphere. And then that will like erupt like the scientific community and all these people. Because then all these people will come out of the woodwork, and probably half the people will agree with you and be like, yeah, he did that. I saw him do that, in the Bible. And then all these scientists will come out of the woodwork and be like, that's crazy. This man is insane. He's not even a scientist. But see, that's not the point. The point is, they're all talking about you in the media. Boom. So making grand, outrageous statements about things that you have created will get you in the political spotlight. You could say something like, I have the formula to warp technology, like warp speed from Star Trek, and I'll only release it if you elect me president. Or you could say, like, I'm the reincarnation of Babe Ruth, and he knows everything that's wrong that could be solved with just the simple game of hitting home runs in baseball games can solve American politics. Because when you make these like grand, outrageous statements, it draws attention. Now, here's the thing is, don't make a statement, something weird like, I like to rip the heads off of Barbies and make them reenact scenes from old episodes of Dharma and Greg. That's weird. So don't get weird. I would say the easy route is just make grand statements like you created stuff, like you had the invention for the printing press in a past life. Stuff like that. Because you want to come across as like righteous, but not too crazy. And the big thing here, the big word when you do all of this stuff is confidence, because confidence is key. Confidence can sell anything. I mean, look at Dane Cook's comedy. awful jokes, but man, his confidence and how he sold them made him hilarious for 5 minutes, and it worked. So that's the big thing here, is you have to be confident in anything you say. You know, if you tell people that you can talk to the dead politicians and you just had a meeting with Ronald Reagan in your living room the other day, obviously that didn't happen. Obviously people are going to call you out on it. But dear God, you have to stick to your guns and never admit that you lied or you were wrong. And I think that's the formula to being the perfect third-party candidate is, number one, be a touch crazy, be a little dramatic, be kind of a little bit of a Karen mixed with a real housewife of New Jersey. Be a little Dane Cook confidence. And I think with all of those ingredients melted together and put into an oven at 350 for 15 minutes, you might be able to make a dent in this presidential election, because that's what the American people want. They want dramatic political entertainment. And there you go. Now, here's the thing is, obviously that would work. I think that would work. This isn't fact, just my opinion. That might work, if you're a third-party candidate running for president. But obviously, I think this formula works if you're running for any kind of office. If you're a kindergartner and you want to be class president, or maybe you want to be a senator or a congressman or a governor or a local mayor or a councilman, I'm pretty sure this formula works. And when I really think about it, as I'm talking about it, I think this formula works for pretty much any career field. Like if you want to be like a investment banker or a real estate agent, or a chef at Costco, I think this formula really, really works because that's what people really want. I'm not going to lie. I know when I used to work in an office, I could care less if you were like a good worker and you kept quiet and you just did your job. I was like, whatever. But if you were like a dramatic worker who like came in and like talked shit about the office constantly and just had like a horrible life and made like outrageous scenes at the office or like flipped out, we loved that. And to be honest, I feel like a lot of companies will keep those employees around as entertainment for the other employees. Because, when you work in like a generic office space, it's super boring. But man, when you have like that weirdo who's like outrageous but super confident and makes outrageous claims and is super dramatic and it's like almost like you're watching a real reality TV show during the day, that actually increases morale for everybody at the office. And I think that's statistically true. That's more of a guesstimation on my part. But man, I'm not going to lie, when I worked in an office, like I loved those people. And I probably was one of those people. So to all my former employees who I worked with, you're welcome because I gave them something to talk about. So really in reality, this formula works for like any sort of scenario or I think job profession because people love drama and they love talking about drama to other people. Oh my God, did you hear what Karen did today? She wouldn't put a mask on, so they made her put a piece of lettuce over her mouth, and she just put a whole head of lettuce in her mouth. It's stupid, but you're talking about it. And that's the key pivotal moment there, is drama sells, baby. And that's how you can, be above the rest. It used to be about, just coming to America, working hard, building your business, finance, whatever. But nowadays it's about coming to America, being a Karen. And that's how you get the attention of the American people. And I just gave you the formula right here, right now. Boom. I think I just solved the world of politics right here on the Nimble Urban Survivor. But with that, people, that's my time. Remember, if you want to be a guest on the show or if you have a topic you want to talk to me about, or if you just want to troll me, you can contact me through my website at www.cutellicomedy.com. Again, I know there's a lot of amazing podcasts out there that you could be listening to, so I really appreciate that you take the time to listen to mine. So remember, guys, next week is the election. Get out there, vote. I don't know how you do it, but vote, because, that's an American right. In some countries, I guess they're not allowed to do that. Obviously, the British still have a queen, so their vote really doesn't matter. But I will talk to you guys later. Have a good week, good month, good day, good galaxy, good whatever. And I will talk to you guys later.